Good morning, everybody. Say good morning, Juno. He just had a nice long walk. So, as we're talking a lot about sadhana is like a daily practice. And from the yoga system, from the Ayurvedic system, many systems, many different types of lineages, it's recommended to have some kind of daily practice. And many of my patients, for example, I ask them, do you do any kind of regular practice? Yeah, maybe once a week. Every once in a while I get into it. I listen to these different things online, music and meditation tapes, and all that's really good. It's all really good. But it's really nice to start with a few simple things, like I mentioned yesterday, doing some breathing, alternate nostril breathing, tip of nose breathing, something like that. And I just wanted to touch on, I know I've mentioned this before, and I think it's a very important thing, because there's a lot of confusion out there about the nature of our Atma, or our inner being. And some sort of profess this idea that there's 100% oneness, where ultimately we sort of merge and become one with everything and everyone. And then there's sort of the dualists, that there's God and there's me, and we're 100% different. And there was a great avatar. Avatar means being who's descended to this world, who's coming from a higher realm, in this case from what's understood to be the transcendental realm, named Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he came about 500 years ago, and he synthesized the teachings of the Vedas coming from India, because in those teachings there's sort of sometimes an emphasis on what's called the impersonal aspect, and sometimes there's an emphasis on the more dualistic or personal aspect. And so Mahaprabhu spoke this aphorism, Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva, which means inconceivably one and different. So that the living entity of the soul is one and different from God, and one and different from everything, all beings. So what's beautiful about that is that it takes pressure off of us to try to elevate ourselves on our own to sort of become completely one and lose our identity, because the idea in that case would be that ultimately the soul sort of merges into a light, and in one sense becomes nothing and gives up complete identity. And this philosophy of Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva is, yes, there's complete oneness, and the analogy is the sun and the sun's rays, or the particles of light emanating from the sun. So it would be like, well, the sun is hot and it emits light. So that particle of coming from the sun, or the ray coming from the sun, is also heat and light, but it's an emanation of, it's not the actual source. It's not, but it's made up of the same quality, heat and light. So this is a nice something that we can settle into when we're doing our daily practices, to see ourselves as part and parcel, as a particle of light that is one with the whole cosmic manifestation, that is completely one with Spirit, which is completely one with God, in quality but not quantity. So we don't have to be the great creators, we don't have to be the greatest of anything. We can accept ourselves as we are, as individuals, and even in our self-realized state, illumined state, we're still maintaining that unique individuality, but the unique individuality at that point is based on love. So that love is the main point. So when we really contact our inner being, when we really contact that loving nature, when we really contact the love that's in all beings, that's the love that is the source of everything, which, what do they say? God is love and love is God. So so we are part and parcel, like a particle of light emanating from the sun. So this is a very beautiful aphorism, Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva, inconceivably one with and different. So we can acknowledge the oneness, but at the nth degree, at the highest level, we don't have to give up individuality. We give up false identity, which is based on what's called the three modes of nature: ignorance and passion, and some mundane goodness. When we realize our spiritual nature, we don't have to completely give up all sense of identity, because at that point, when there's only love, there's beautiful, loving exchanges between soul to soul and soul to the divine. So at that point, it's a very blissful state of consciousness, and there's no need to merge. In fact, there's many who say, I'd rather maintain that state than merge into the Brahman, merge into the light. There's no reason to do that when there's pure love. So this is just a little thought to perhaps meditate on. If you have any thoughts or comments on that, be happy to hear it. Okay, have a great day.